Hello everyone, welcome to VB 2020. My name is Abhijit Kulkarni and I have with me my colleague Prakash Jagdale. We are from Incrux Technologies and our topic for today is the next big surge on Mac OS. This presentation is for you if you are a security vendor developing solutions on Mac, or if you plan to develop solutions on Mac, or for any vendor who are planning to replace their existing kernel system extension. We are Incrux Technologies, a startup based out of India. We are a technology company with a strong security DNA. We have a deep experience in Windows systems, kernel, and macOS system software development. This talk is about the next version of macOS, which is called as Big Sur. It will discuss the change which is inevitable for all the security vendors who are developing or planning to develop their solutions on macOS. This presentation will discuss the challenges which will be faced by all those who want to port or develop solutions for Big Sur.
Thanks, Abhijit. Now let's see what are kernel extensions. Basically, it is an extension to what macOS does, effectively changing or extending a particular service. These are also known as legacy system extensions. Kernel extensions load soon after the kernel starts, and it runs in kernel address space. So any badly written kernel extension may possess a risk both from security and stability perspective. Now let's see typical kernel extension use cases in security domain. For example, to monitor and filter the file system activities using KAUTH, to filter and block malicious network activities using network kernel extensions, and to block access to unauthorized devices using IOKit based drivers. At WWDC 2019, Apple announced their plans for moving away from third-party kernel extensions. macOS Catalina will be the last OS fully supporting legacy extensions. Apple have been working with developers to transition their software using modern alternative called as system extensions. In macOS 10.15.4 and later updates, Apple introduced a message whenever legacy system extension loads. It informs the user that your existing software is loading a legacy system extension and will be incompatible with future version of macOS. Legacy system extensions and software that rely on them continue to work today, but it may not work in future version of macOS, that is Big Sur. So what are system extensions? System extensions will be supported on macOS Catalina and above versions. It allows security solutions to extend the functionality of macOS without requiring kernel level access. It runs in user space, so it cannot compromise the security and stability of macOS. There are three types of system extensions: Endpoint Security, which is an alternative to KAUTH-based kernel extensions; Network Extension Framework, which is an alternative to network kernel extensions; and Driver Kit Framework, which is an alternative to IOKit-based drivers.
Now we will be discussing about the challenges that one would face during the development of system extension. We'll also discuss the solutions or the workaround in order to overcome these challenges. The first challenge is about the code signature error. It's very difficult to grasp exactly what these errors are, but these would be seen if you are developing a system extension and distributing it using a developer ID certificate. In order to handle this, you have to modify the entitlements file manually and append -system extension to all the entitlements in the entitlement file. One of the challenges you would see is if you have multiple network extensions. Typically, the network extensions load the preferences and they save the preferences in order to start the network extension. But if you are trying to call these save preferences in concurrent, then one of the calls to the save preferences fails, and then one of the network extension won't start. In order to handle this, you have to serialize the call to the save preferences. The next challenge that one would face if they are developing a VPN related network extension. Typically, this is a transparent app proxy. Now, if you are trying to start the tunnel during the boot process through the daemon, then you won't be able to start that. This is perhaps due to the unpreparedness of the network extension framework. For this, one of the workaround or solution can be that you can launch this through a launch agent. One of the use case of any security application is to get the process ID. This is typically used in order to identify the flows which are accessed by a particular process. But in system extension, there is no facility to directly get the PID. Instead, one can use the any flow metadata related fields. And instead of relying on PID, which might have security issues, you can rely on these fields to use the bundle identifier and thereby identifying the source app. One more challenge for any security application is to identify the flows which originate from the system extension and they land back into the system extension. Here again, you can make use of the any flow metadata related fields. System extensions are sandboxed. So all the sandbox related challenges or limitations like accessing the global dispatch objects or any connections coming to or going from the system extension would not happen. The solution for this would be to add the exceptions in the entitlements file. The next challenge would be applicable to all those solutions who want to build a proxy. Typically, these applications historically they just manipulate the IP address and port and redirect all the traffic to their proxy applications. The transparent app proxy, which is part of the network extension, doesn't provide this facility. So you have to implement your own proxy in order to connect to your existing user mode proxy or directly to the server. So what's the next step? If you already have a kernel extension on previous versions of macOS, or if you plan to develop security solutions for the next OS, then start developing the system extension for macOS Big Sur. We believe that we have covered the key challenges that one would face when you develop system extension on Big Sur, and we have also given the solutions or workaround for the same. So thank you.
Stay safe.